Good morning, y'all. I want to talk about three reasons why your revenue might be inconsistent as an online entrepreneur. I'm Krisha Sarah Bowen. I am an online course expert. I have co created close to 300 courses and created over 100 courses, and I help entrepreneurs just like you to be able to convert their skills and their lived experiences into online courses that generates multiple streams of income. And today I want to talk about inconsistency as a coach, consultant, speaker, anyone in the online entrepreneur space, why this is happening, the three mistakes that you're making, and what you can do about them. If you can hear and see me correctly, please drop a yes in the chat just so I know that we are live and you guys can hear and can see me. But let's talk about mistake number one. This is a huge mistake I see a lot of online entrepreneurs making, and that mistake is using outdated strategies. Now, I've been an online coach now since 2015. This year is going to be my eighth year full time as an online entrepreneur. Good morning. And these are some of the mistakes I see people making in 2024. When I just entered the space in 2015, it was much easier for you to convert a buyer. You could go live, you can post a flyer, you can share information about your products and your services, and it was very easy for you to convert someone on the internet into a buyer. Now, in the current dynamic, it's a lot more, you have to put a lot more work and effort into converting someone into a buyer off of social media. One of my coach, he always says, no one goes to social media to buy a product. So your client is not saying, hey, let me go to social media today to see which course I could buy. Let me see which coaching program I could sign up for. Let me go on social media today to see if I can buy a book. They are essentially on social media to be social, but in their interaction, they come across our content, and that essentially converts them into a buyer. But I see a lot of people in the online space using outdated strategies. That's because they're using things that were existing in the industry maybe for a while and things that worked before. But how many of you know, if you are in this space, things that worked before are no longer working, or they're not working as easy as they used to before? So if your intention is just to go live and to hope that someone sees your content and that they want to buy or do business from you, you would probably have been experiencing a rude awakening. So, mistake number one in terms of inconsistent revenue is using outdated strategies. So, now let's talk about some of these outdated strategies and how they are hurting your business. Now, outdated strategy number one is that you come on social media to sell. Now, if you are in this space, I'm not saying that social media is not used to sell. This is how you have to think of social media. Social media is like a free piece of land. It's a free piece of land that has been given to you, and you have the opportunity to build anything that you want on this free piece of land. Now, when you build on this free piece of land, there's someone that's going to come in the neighborhood and they're just watching other properties. They are not there for you, but maybe when they see what you have to offer, they might be a little bit interested. This is why you want to treat your social media pages as your property, as your real estate. You want to build something that when someone sees it, it causes them to have increase in interest. So a lot of people now, they're coming on social media, they're putting out a lot of content and doing what my friend Michelle calls fake work, because you are busy doing activities. You're creating graphics on Canva, you're going live, you're posting content, you're sharing reels, and you're doing all of this work, but the strategies that you're using on the back end are outdated. Strategy number one that's outdated is going live, thinking that you're going to convert this live instantly into a buyer. Now, the purpose of live videos, and essentially back in 2015, it was super easy. Like right now, I'm on this live, and usually my live would probably have close to 30-40 people that would be watching a live. But because of the high video saturation, especially coming out of the pandemic, now the people that would watch your live are people that are maybe curious about your brand, people who come across and want to kind of try you out to see, okay, what does this person have to offer? The thing about a live video is that a live video has a 24-hour lifespan. So after 24 hours, essentially your live video is dead. Now, there was a higher, long ago, there was a higher replay chance. So most people would come to watch the replay, and that was fine. Now, you have to think about your live video. In about 24 hours, that video essentially is dead. You might have a few slow creepers that come to watch that video, but essentially that video is dead. Now, if it is that you're putting all of this energy and effort and using this strategy in a outdated fashion, thinking, okay, I'm just gonna go live, people are gonna like my content, that's gonna lead them to click my link in my bio and they're gonna buy my product, this is a mistake that you might be making. So what should you be doing differently when you're doing your live videos? You should be thinking of your live videos as a part of your content creation process. And because your live video is a part of your content creation process, you have to think, how do I give my video longevity beyond the 24 hours that social media is going to promote it, right? If you are listening, if you're following, just drop a yes in the chat. So when you're doing a live video, how do I give my video longevity beyond what social media creates? Which means you now have to look at deliberate strategies to inform people about your training and deliberate strategies to have people go watch your training. It means that within the 24-hour window that you have produced a live video online, you need to now create micro bits of that content that drives people back to the main video so that they can hear all of the content. Now we're seeing a shift, right? So after the pandemic and up to 2023, we were very heavy in terms of reels and short form videos. So people wanted to get shorter form content. The attention span, good morning, was shorter. And now we're seeing a shift where people are now so video saturated, they are moving back into reading. So you would see now there's an emergence in the industry in terms of books. Books are now resurfacing. Not saying that books were dead or dormant, but people were watching videos to get that instant high, instant inspiration and move on. Now we're seeing where people are reading a lot more and they're going back into that reading rhythm to now get information about people that they want to do business with. So if you are using just a go live strategy on social media, it is outdated unless you have a way to drive additional traffic to your live video. Does that make sense? Drop a yes in the chat if that makes sense and if you're tracking with me. So that's mistake number one. And there are a lot of people in the industry who are teaching outdated systems, teaching outdated strategies. So perhaps a coach or someone has given you this type of advice, but one of the things about this coaching space, which I mentioned I've been in since 2015, there is a low barrier to entry. So anyone can become a coach. Once you have a device, once you have a specific thought, once you have something that you want to share, you could go live and you can build a coaching business, right? The difference between then to now is that your buyer is way more sophisticated and way more informed than they were in 2015. So people could hear someone on a live, like the content, immediately buy. Now people are doing their research. We are more sophisticated buyers because we've been saturated with so much content, because we've invested and we've got burned, right? Come on, somebody talk back to me. We are flooded with coaches. We absolutely are. So now you're trying to see, okay, who is really the ones in the space that can give me the strategy for my next level? Everyone promises, I'm going to take you to the next level. As my coach Marcus says, what is the next level? That's a place that really does not exist because you need to tell people specifically what is the destination. Where am I taking you to? So there are a lot of outdated strategies that people are teaching that are not converting into income. You might be caught up doing some of them, and this I'm hoping through this video to share with you some insights on what you can be doing differently. So if you're taking notes in the chat, mistake number one that you're making that's hurting your revenue is using outdated strategies. With every activity you're doing in your business, you need to look at the activity and look at the results that the activity is creating. So remember, I mentioned my friend Michelle that says that a lot of business owners are doing fake work, and I just love that terminology because it's so true. We are busy becoming graphic designers. We are busy becoming editors. We are busy creating videos, doing all the things, right? But we're not focused on what turns the needles what moves the envelope in our business, and that's outdated strategies. You need to look at, okay, if I'm doing this activity, what does this activity do for my business? So I'm going live, for example, or I'm creating content, I'm sharing videos. Are people engaging with that content? Is it converting? Am I getting questions? Am I getting feedback? How is it moving things in my business? Versus saying, okay, I want to be consistent, so I'm just going to show up. But if you're consistently doing the wrong thing, then it does not equate to results, right? So that's mistake number one. I think I hammered that one into the ground. Let's talk about mistake number two that you might be making in your business that is hurting your revenue. Mistake number two is being unclear about your offer. Like, this is one of those grave mistakes that a lot of online coaches and entrepreneurs make, is being very unclear about your offer. Very early in my journey, you'll see, like, a lot of my coaching foundation now is from what I learned back in 2015. And one of my very first coaches, Kelly, he used to say, don't be cute and be clever, be clear. Don't be cute, don't be clever, be clear. And some of us are tempted to use these rhyming type words for our offer. We're tempted to make things rhyme. Hey, we're tempted to make things rhyme. And if you'll give not StreamYard, Ecamm permission, I can see who's talking to me. I see the comments, I see the chat, but it just says Facebook user. So I'm not sure who is rocking with me, but somebody says, hey coach, hey. He said, you're trying to be cute, you're trying to be clever, and you're not being clear. So there are a lot of these rhyming type program names. When you're thinking of your program names and your offer name, just be very clear. Your program name or your offer name should speak to the result. So I know the temptation to be rhymy and to use all C's and all D's and all, rhyming type words can come. But when you're rhyming, you're not really clear. Like, it sounds good and sounds like music to your ear, but to your buyer, it just adds to the noise that already exists. So you want to be clear, not clever, not cute. With the emergence of AI, which I also use and I teach my clients, sometimes AI has a tendency to use specific words, so it's clear to see that this content was AI created. Sometimes it uses a lot of emojis, and these are things that I teach my content creators in my programs. Like, the biggest way to sell out yourself that you are using artificial intelligence is not to train your AI. There are certain trigger words that it uses over and over, and tons of emojis, man. AI is going to emoji you to the grave with your content. So you also have to be, cautious of that, because it's a clear trigger to those in the industry that your content is not real and it's not authentic, right? So right now I'm talking to you guys like off my knowledge, off top of my head, showing, okay, demonstrating these are the mistakes that you might be making that is hurting your revenue. So you're shifting into creating an offer. You put it into AI or some type of software. The offer is very unclear. Nobody knows the solution that you create. So that is one of the biggest problems that is hurting your revenue. And mistake number three that online coaches make, entrepreneurs make in this space is you're not making the ask. You're simply not asking for the sale. So you're creating all of this content with this imaginary belief that someone will magically one day say, I want to work with you. No. You need to ask. You need to put the offer out, and you need to put the offer out consistently. If you have not sold one offer consistently, you probably don't need to create another offer. You probably need to look into that offer, go deeper instead of wider, but you need to have the ability to create one offer consistently. If you haven't sold that one offer, I would suggest that you don't get shiny object syndrome and just switch to the next thing. Sometimes what we feel, and I faced this very, very early in my journey, I would be like, squirrel, okay, what's the new thing? What should I do? Okay, should I do this? Should I do that? Should I do a webinar? Should I do a workshop? Should I do a masterclass? Should I do a live? Should I do YouTube? Should I do Instagram? Should I do LinkedIn? Should I do Facebook? Like, all of the things work, right? All of the things work. But you have to have a strategy behind the things that you're doing. So a lot of entrepreneurs are doing activity without strategy and simply making mistake number three, where you're not making the ask. You're not telling people, this is how I serve, clearly not being clever. So I help people do this. If you work with me, this is what we will do. This is how long it takes to get the specific result. Like, let's get very, very clear about our offer, our solution, right? Don't come with the intention to sell, but pretend like you don't want to sell. That's making a huge mistake in your online business. Trying to show up as if you don't want to sell. So you're trying to say, oh, I don't want to come off salesy, right? That's something I used to say to myself. And actually, right now, I'm reading and listening to a lot of books as it relates to sales, because every day we sell. We sell ourselves to other people. We sell ourselves in relationships. We sold ourselves to an employer. We sell ourselves on the job. We sell ourselves in terms of what we want people to believe and to have this particular impression of us. We sell ourselves when we put a social media post out. We sell ourselves when we go live. So sales is everywhere, but it's our mindset concerning sales. So the mistake number 3 is you're not asking, so you're coming to give value, you're coming to share your knowledge, you're coming to share what you know, but you don't tell people, this is how you can work with me. This is what I have available. This is what I'm doing. Noting that every offer has a different strategy to sell it. So it goes back to mistake number 1. If I'm using outdated strategies, and then mistake number 2, my offer is very unclear, then mistake number 3, I'm not making the ask. So that's why I'm making inconsistent revenue in my business. Like, some of you simply need to probably transition from a one-on-one model to a group model, where you can serve more people, but not only do you serve more people, you have the chance of making the same revenue or very close that you may have made on a one-on-one in a group. Whereas there's some of you that just need to say, I want to work with X amount of people, and you need to drill down, work with smaller groups or individuals, and then increase the price point. But in order to do this, you have to know your offer intimately, and you have to be able to articulate the value of that offer. Let me know in the chat if this was helpful. Are you making any of these mistakes, right? Mistake number 1, using outdated strategies. Drop a 1 in the chat if you feel like, okay, I might be doing mistake number 1. Mistake number 2 is that you are unclear about your offer. Maybe you have these rhyming names and it sounds cute and you feel like, okay, this sounds like a good offer, but nobody's buying because it's not 100% clear. If people have to ask you what it is, what do you do, it's not 100% clear. Drop a 2 in the chat if you feel like your offer is unclear. And number 3, right? One of the biggest mistakes, drop a 3 in the chat if you know, Krisha, I'm just not asking for the sale. Like, I'm just not putting it out there. I'm just not saying, this is what I do. This is how I help. I'm being elusive, and I'm hoping that based on my reels, my content, my emails, someone will perhaps say, I want to work with you, but I'm not straight up saying, listen, this is what I do. I'm working with 2 people. I want to work with X people. This is the problem I solve, and this is how you can work with me. Let's talk and let's move you into the next phase of how I can help you. I'll end by saying this, something that my coach always says as well. Marcus always says, if you woke up today and you had the cure for cancer, would you keep it a secret? You would not. So you woke up today and you have an answer, you have a secret, you have something that only you can deliver. Granted, yes, there are a lot of people talking about your topic. There are a lot of people that are coaches. There are a lot of people that are entrepreneurs. But there's nobody that's going to have the combination of your personality, your life experiences, and you being skilled to do what you do. So it's as if you have the cure for cancer, because guess what? Right now, somebody's problem is eating at them. It's like tearing them up, just as if it were a cancer. And he always says, if you had the cure, like, would you be silent? You probably would not. So I want to challenge those of you today that looking at this video, or maybe you watch the replay, make the ask today. I want you to go out and ask for the sale. And come back to this video and comment and let me know, okay, Krisha, I did it. I did what you said. I went on social. I straight up made the ask. I told them what I was offering. And this is my result. So I want to challenge you to do that. And if you do, come back to this post. Drop it in the comments. Let me see. I want to celebrate you, because it means then that you want to shift from inconsistent revenue months as a coach to consistent revenue. My name is Krisha Sarah Bowen, and I help entrepreneurs just like you to create online courses that gives them multiple streams of income. And my passion is to really help people live from a place of purpose, because once you know your why, then the what does not frustrate you, because you understand that everything you do, you are connected to. And when you show up, the result shows up. Have an amazing Friday, guys. Share this video with someone if you think it might be beneficial. Hit the share button, tag someone, tell them look at this video. If you know any coach, entrepreneur, anyone in the online space that might be having some challenges with inconsistent revenue, tag them and tell them to watch this video. Have an amazing day, guys. Bye bye.